What's up, all my movie loving maniacs? This your boy Bangful B of the Lassiter Factor, and this is part two of all my favorite music of the year. So let's get back into it. Starting with Childish Gambino's Bando Stone in the New World, which I am a huge Childish Gambino fan. He's one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite rappers. I went to his concert over the summer out in Washington D.C. before he canceled the rest of his tour due to medical issues, and I hope he's making a speedy recovery. But I'm just glad that I was able to see his concert before he took a hiatus, because just his concert, that was probably my second concert ever, and it was a concert that I actually wanted to go to as a Childish Gambino fan. That was just good for my spirit and being around everybody that love him and his music. But as for this album, while it's not one of my favorites, but I did think it was a nice little amalgamation of all his music up to this point. I think he said this might be his last album as Childish Gambino, but who knows? Anything could happen. But my standout tracks here for me are Hearts Are Meant to Fly, Lithuania, and Survive. Next is Nero, Into the Unknown. Hey, what can I say? Like I said, I listen to anything, even dubstep and that electronic sounding music. But Nero, they're a band that their last album was back in 2015. I believe they hadn't made any new music together in years. Now, granted, they might have done things on the side. Maybe they had some side missions. I don't really follow them like that. All I know is their music. But then when I find out that they came out with a new album, I listened and loved. The standout tracks here to me are The Unknown and Draw Energy. Next is the soundtrack to Piece by Piece, which is an animated documentary by Pharrell Williams. Now, of course, he made some new music with this, but at the same time, I remember watching the movie and discovering a lot of music that he's done in the past, and I was always a fan of him and the band NERD, but and the Neptunes, of course. But I just had to include this because this movie just opened my eyes to just a lot of music that Pharrell has done and has done for other people. Next is Chromakopia by Tyler the Creator. Now, I am a fan of Tyler the Creator, but I'll admit, anytime he comes out with a new album, it usually takes a while for me to get into the album and appreciate it. Like, honestly, like this year was the year where I really started to understand and appreciate Call Me If You Get Lost. And then he comes out with Chromacopia, which I'm still processing. But from everything I've heard from it so far, I am loving it. And I can already tell I'm going to love this even more down the line. Tyler the Creator, he gave us another solid classic. My standout tracks here are the intro track, Saint Chromacopia, Noi, Judge Judy, and Sticky, which is everybody singing right now. Now, Linkin Park is my other favorite band of all time next to Tame Impala. So I was really sad when Chester Bennington, we lost him back in 2017, and the fate of this band was still left to be determined. But whatever would happen, I just wish nothing but the best for all of the rest of the surviving members. But over the summer, they announced that Linkin Park would make a return, and they got a new singer with Emily Armstrong, to which that's interesting. Let's see how that goes. And then all the controversies came out about her. And then all the hardcore LP fans, they felt like this was disrespectful to Chester. And it's like, nobody is trying to replace Chester, all right? This is just, if this is the way that Linkin Park wants to move forward as a band, hey, so be it. I'm here for it. Let's see what they do. And I'll always remember Chester, but this right here is just a new era of Linkin Park. And I felt they did not disappoint. Now, granted, the jury's still out on Emily Armstrong, and she does hold her on and she does make her own within this band. And I felt this album From Zero was a solid return for Linkin Park. It's basically an amalgamation of all their previous work. But my standout tracks to me are Two Faced. Like, to me, that song just reminds me of One Step Closer, and this is a good way to basically massage fans back into that old school feeling of Linkin Park and to massage Emily Armstrong and to make her acceptable. I can't wait to see what this band does in the future, and this album I felt was a pretty good comeback album, at least in my opinion. But of course, the biggest MVP within music was Kendrick Lamar this year. This man had a beef with Drake, calling him a pedophile, and just this was the year that basically showed the world that Drake, he was the number one guy within music for a whole decade, but it also showed that he is not invincible. Now, granted, there are other times that show that he wasn't invincible, but Kendrick, He's like, he basically took a knife, cut off the head of Medusa, and said, "Look, fuck the big three. It's just me. In fact, I don't even want this crown. But if you think you can get it, come and get it." And Kendrick Lamar, he overcame. Now, of course, I like Drake, but I'm more of a fan of Kendrick more than anything. And this beef was probably one of the most hilarious, but also brutal beefs ever. Like, just look at this diss track list from both artists, but clearly Kendrick, he had the upper hand. I mean, Euphoria, everybody was talking about Night Like Us, and it is a good and fun song, and it was the number one song of the year, but Euphoria, that's the diss track that I go back to the most. Like, Beat the Grahams, I'm sorry, Euphoria, there was a time where I was listening to that song every day, and then Meet the Grahams, where he spoke to almost every member of his family, including a daughter that Drake may or may. Meet the Grahams was one of the most diabolical diss tracks I ever heard. But of course, Not Like Us was the real standout track of the year from Kendrick Lamar. It basically healed the West Coast. We all remember the Pop Out concert. It was one of the biggest concerts that everybody was talking about. He single handedly united the Bloods and the Crips at this concert. He was chosen to headline this coming Super Bowl, which I'm super excited for, and it's in New Orleans. And there was a whole thing about they should have picked Lil Wayne since he is a Louisiana native, and I understand. But if you've seen, I'm with everybody else. If you've seen Lil Wayne's performances, you know why Kendrick Lamar was chosen to headline this Super Bowl. And even after I saw the Childish Gambino concert over the summer, it made me appreciate the spectacle of seeing a concert and a performance. And then Kendrick Lamar took a victory lap with releasing GNX, which is a new album that he released almost a month ago. Now, granted, I'm still processing this album, but the album does have some bangers on it. And this was, like I said, this was a good victory lap for him. Obviously, the standout tracks on here were Squabble Up, TV Off. Both those songs alone have been memed on TikTok and what have you, but the Hard Part 6 is probably my favorite song on here, though. I just like how nostalgic it sounds and definitely the right way to do a Hard Part 6, unlike what Drake did. But that's it for the day. That's all my favorite music from this year. Did you check out part one? If so, let me know. And in this video, let me know all your favorite music from this year. And let me know what you think of all my picks from this year. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. This is your boy Bangful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Peace.